Nathan here with FreeUp, and I'm here with Rick joining us live from the Philippines. Rick, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for calling.
Awesome. So we're excited to have you. You are running an agency on the FreeUp platform. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about you? How'd you get into e-commerce? How'd you get into growing an agency? And we'll go from there.
All right. Sounds good. So I'm originally from Southern California. Spent most of my professional career there. And I decided to become a digital nomad in 2013. And by coincidence, that happened to be because I met my girlfriend and now wife from the Philippines. And so I decided to move here. Of course, being a graphic designer, I could do my work remotely, right? So what was perfect for me is many of my clients were very supportive and were happy to continue to send work even though I was remote. It quickly grew out of hand. Started hiring local designers and illustrators and photographers. And now 5 years later, I have a team of 30 running across 2 shifts. Yeah.
So you actually have them all working in an office, or are they all remote?
Yes, I have a studio here for the most part. I would say 95% of them are working in the office. We have high-speed internet. We actually have 300 megabyte download fiber into our office, which is great for large files. Since we do a lot of product photography for Amazon, getting all those files sync quickly in Dropbox, things like that. It helps with redundancy. The team can collaborate. So it works out better, I found, rather than having individual team members. We do have a few that have certain talents that I couldn't find locally, and so they're either up in Manila. I'm actually in Davao. So they're up in Manila, and these are like web developers and things like that.
Awesome. So I think some people out there that are using FreeUp, and people can hire Rick's agency through the FreeUp platform. Maybe they haven't used people in the Philippines before. So this is nice because you get someone that's leading the team that's from the US that can relate to a lot of US cultures and styles. And some people get concerned with having a team that's remote in different places. So you've got a bunch of people in the same place. What skills do you offer? What different services does your agency offer?
Right. You're actually right. So many people are looking to go to the Philippines because of the fact that, of course, it's a lower cost. They speak English very well. And what's perfect about the Filipinos, let's say compared to other English-speaking countries, is they consume our products, our movies as a native, right? So, for example, they don't watch the latest Marvel movie with subtitles. They speak English fluently. They wear Levi's jeans. They eat our junk foods. So it's very easy for them to get the context of the products that we're sending over. So primarily, I work in things like packaging design for consumer products, as well as Amazon and e-commerce product photography. And we also have illustrators and 3D artists and things like that, but primarily for e-commerce.
Yeah, that kind of makes me think of an interesting question. So you've worked with a lot of people in the Philippines. I have as well. You much more in person. And you told us what is the same. They consume our stuff. They speak English. What about differences? Where do you see the disconnect? What should people be aware of if they've never even interacted with someone that lives in the Philippines before?
Right. So some hard lessons for us that to be able to understand as a designer, as a photographer, as a person who works in communication, you have to give them context, right? They have to understand the product, its features, its benefits. So to give you a good example of the differences, in the West, we have tanning salons, we have bronzing products. Here, it's very, very Asian in that they use whitening products. So I have a client who's selling bronzing lotion. I have to explain the context that in the US, having a tan is actually nice. Whereas here, being white, it's sort of the opposite, right? So things like that. So you have to first give them a little bit of background so that they understand what the benefits are, and they can then communicate that through the visuals.
How important do you think feedback and communication from the client side is? Because that's something that I really stress, I really preach. I mean, I try to get everything in writing. When I hire a new person, I really try to set the expectations of this is why we do what we do. This is what it's like working with me. This is what we like. This is what we don't like. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, for each client, it's different depending on the level of experience that they have. Some are totally new at this. Maybe they just opened up a store online, have never worked on a graphics project or photography project. So it's a educational process, and we've tried to create PDF forms and articles to bring them up to speed. Right? It can be daunting. A lot of the clients that we work with are actually influencers and people who, like yourself, bring in a lot of customers so that they can learn before they come to us, right? So that's a little easier for us because they understand a little bit more about marketing and graphics and things like that.
All right, so you talked about marketing, graphics, photography. What other services do you offer?
Actually, by chance, my wife now runs a virtual assistant team. It started out because basically she was helping me with my clients, things like customer service and answering emails. And, we created the photography. Oh, I need you to upload it to Amazon to make sure it matches all the needs and ticks, all the boxes. So she started doing that. And now she also has a team of virtual assistants that can do that. Things like uploading, web research, sourcing vendors, things like that. So it's a good complement because oftentimes she will get a client that needs just that, and then by chance they'll need photography or vice versa. We get a client and they are actually already using virtual assistant. So having someone there on site that understands the market, that came from the West and understands the aesthetics is a big deal. It's really helpful. And the fact that, compared to, let's say, local talent, our rates are actually a lot better, even though we have the same level of quality that you would see in Los Angeles, New York, London.
Awesome. So let's say we have a client that's running an e-commerce business, and their question is, how much onboarding do they have to do? I like to say that there's 3 levels. You got the basic level freelancers that might have experience that you have to provide systems and processes for them to follow. Then you got the mid-level stuff, the specialists, the graphic designers, photographers. You're not teaching someone how to be a graphic designer, but you can tweak what they do to fit your needs. And then you got the experts. You can actually come in and give advice and consult and look at an Amazon account and say, hey, I actually think you should do this strategy. Where do you fall in that levels? Do you have all 3 levels? Is it more just the basic? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So again, it depends on which service we're talking about. So like, for example, some clients have come to us with their particular workflow and said, this is how I want things done. I have a Shopify site. I need it to go over to Amazon or vice versa. And so for some of these tasks, it's been a learning curve for us. Whereas with my background, 20 years working for ad agencies in LA and things like that, when it comes to graphics and packaging, I can give advice. I can help clients make the right decisions. So I would say graphics, level 3. You can come to me and say, I know nothing about it. Can you help me? Definitely, I can do that. But when it comes to the subtleties of, let's say, Amazon and SEO and keywords and all of that stuff, I would say we're probably at the lower level of that. We only have maybe 3 years experience with that. So it depends again on the services that you request.
Yeah, it makes sense. So it depends. What about mistakes that you see when someone hires an agency in the Philippines like yours? What are some common things that clients do wrong?
It's always a learning experience. So it's something different. Just recently, let's see, some things that come to mind. Clients not understanding the differences, let's say, between web and print. So they will send low-res items and say, hey, can you design the packaging for this item I'm selling online? And they'll send low-res images and things like that. So having to educate them about what the requirements are for web versus actually printing packaging, things like that.
Very cool. Well, Rick, I really appreciate you coming on. If anyone wants to hire Rick's agency, email me, Nathan@freeup.com or support@freeup.com. We'll put you guys in touch. And yeah, we'll do this again sometime.
Right. Thanks so much.
Hey everyone, I'm making content like this all the time. If you like this video, please comment and like below. Also, click the subscribe button to get even more content brought to you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back at the end of the next video to remind you again.